Citizens 35th edition. My name is Robert Wilkins. It has been a stunning day that God created the blueness of the sky on the plains of Auburn. There were two citizens that spoke during a Citizens Open Forum on March the 17th council meeting. One citizen spoke about the Sign Ordinance that is not being enforced, and the other citizen spoke about Auburn's voice and its involvement in the community. Our title is Mayor Breaks Law, City Manager Mocks U.S. Supreme Court, while Councilman Laughs at the Law. Mayor Anders breaks the law with no concern, while our overpaid city manager Megan Crouch admits this ordinance is not enforceable, while mocking our U.S. Supreme Court, and Councilman Dawson, our former chief of police, with Mayor Anders, laughs at Auburn's Citizen Steven Dixon, a former Auburn councilman, concerning the Sign Ordinance. Steven Dixon stated at the Auburn Council Meeting, quote, "Equal enforcement isn't selective. Equal enforcement is not paused when it becomes politically uncomfortable. And equal enforcement does not stop at the mayor's driveway." As an Auburn citizen, I'm regretfully ashamed of our Auburn leadership.
According to the City of Auburn, Section 8-5 of Auburn Municipal Code, it states that political signs may not be placed earlier than 30 days prior to the election date and must be removed no later than 7 days following the election. Yet today, on March 17th, 2026, a solid month before political signs are legally allowed to be put out, I personally observed a political sign in the yard at Mayor Ron Anders' house supporting Catherine Robertson for Attorney General. I do not believe that this is an isolated issue. Political signs appear to be widespread across Auburn. If the city intends to enforce this ordinance, then enforcement should be visible, consistent, and citywide. That means code enforcement officers knocking on doors, issuing notices, and requiring compliance from property owners across the town, including the mayor, because as of this afternoon, his property is in violation. If the city truly means what it says in its own ordinance and public guidance, then the next municipal court session should be busy, because equal enforcement is not selective. Equal enforcement does not pause when it becomes politically uncomfortable, and equal enforcement does not stop at the mayor's driveway. If this ordinance matters, enforce it. If it does not, amend the ordinance. But do not tell the people of Auburn that rules apply to them while looking the other way when other rules appear to be violated by the mayor himself. Thank you.
Anyone? Okay. We'll go to citizens of the forum. Mr. Mormon, I think you told me you'd like to make a comment.
Well, two comments, if I may. I have a sign in my front yard. I'll be interested in seeing how this turns out.
Better get it moved.
Anyone else?
Yes, do you know whether or not, Megan, that ordinance for signs, that pertain to city elections, or is it?
Well, I would love for you to get in the heads of the United States Supreme Court that has made it very clear in a ruling that the city may not regulate signs on private property when it comes to freedom of speech. So while the city has an elections rule, when it is your private homestead and you're not putting a sign on the public right-of-way, we legally can't make you take it down. We can ask you to take it down, but we cannot make you take it down. And our chief legal counsel here in the city attorney's office has reiterated that. We've had a lot of candidates call and ask. I know this is a rule. I see other signs out. What should I do? And I've had to say, this is up to you. The United States Supreme Court made a decision for us. It is up to the candidate as to whether or not they're going to follow that rule. If it is in the right-of-way, it gets collected and kindly put behind our development services building at 171 North Ross Street in an adjacent facility so the candidates can come pick them up. This was the same case 4 years ago during the municipal election, and when we roll into that, it will be up to those candidates if they're going to choose to comply with the city ordinance or not, but I don't have unilateral authority, thanks to the United States Supreme Court, to ask people to take it down. But it's the same as a sign that says, welcome baby boy or baby girl, or he is risen. or Jim Bob's electrical service or whatever it is that's in somebody's yard, it applies equally to freedom of speech, and we cannot interfere with that per the United States Supreme Court. Mr. Clark, did I miss anything? Okay.
So that ordinance would be unenforceable?
It's unenforceable, so to Mr. Dixon's point, I mean, we can remove it from the city books. It's been on the books a long time, but the Supreme Court made that decision for us when some unilateral challenges came to the United Supreme Court about freedom of speech and signage in general. It does not currently impact our zoning ordinance as written because there's other regulatory items in it. We regulate sizes of signs and so on, but the content itself, other than on an electronic reader board, you're supposed to hold a message for a certain time. We do not regulate what those messages say. And this is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all of those things. And so that's kind of why the Supreme Court leaned that way, but it's something we've been dealing with internally for some time. Our inspection services staff, when we get complaints, does try to go out and kindly leave a note on the door that says, the city ordinance says this, please remove it, but if people don't comply, we don't have recourse.
Thank you. I thought that was the case, but I just think it's kind of petty that we worry about what the mayor's got in his yard. Care less what he's got in his yard, as long as it's not obscene. I don't think he'll put anything obscene out there. But I'm glad you, what I wanted to get out there is it's your constitutional right to put a sign up in your yard if you want to.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Auburn's voice. The purpose of Auburn's voice is best said by Thomas Jefferson. Government is the strongest of which every man feels himself a part, unquote. We cannot let the city bureaucrats, the elites, uninformed city council, or the greedy businesses continue to destroy the once loveliest village on the plains. We also have concerns about our communities and cities that make up our 67 counties in our wonderful state of Alabama, especially Lee County, where we reside in. We must dedicate our limited time to intelligent voting, being involved and staying informed while giving input to the future of our families. We cannot allow useless laws and greedy members of society to affect our freedoms. Auburn's Voice has produced 72 videos over the last 22 months under 4 categories: Citizens Minutes, Citizens Brief, Be Informed, and our newest, Citizen and Profile. The reason I started Auburn's Voice on YouTube.com and Nextdoor.com was the neglect of individuals concerned during Auburn City Council meetings. Item open citizens forum of my fellow citizens. Mayor Anders never mentioned citizens forum on mayor's minutes. Never does. I felt that we citizens deserve better. Auburn's Voice production first started with Citizens Minutes, already 34 videos and counting, with an additional 38 videos on topics such as pharmacy benefit managers, Lee County Commission public records requests, big government, First Amendment during Election Day, Alabama rural health at a point of no return, lack of fairness by the City Council, improving rural health through on-med clinics in a box, physical responsibilities of our city tax dollars, pharmacy deserts, amendment to Ordinance 3288 short-term rentals, forensic audit for solid waste management, downtown moratorium or complete overall, rural ambulance service in trouble, Blue Cross Blue Shield monopoly, election requirements for mayor and city council members. When is government too big? What are we getting taxed on? I think everything seems like. Lee Scott Academy controlled by a few, Cherokee County ATV business over regulation to destroy it, Public Service Commission destruction, and more. I appreciate the tens of thousands of citizens that have responded to our 72 videos. Your lack of concern, Mayor Anders, has created an open citizens forum by Auburn's Voice production. Thank you. Marcus Tullius Cicero was a Roman statesman, lawyer, scholar, philosopher, orator, and writer. Cicero said, "The more laws, the less justice." In other words, the more ordinance, the less justice. Citizens question, Brianna asked, how many ordinances should there be gotten rid of, like the sign ordinance? Well, Brianna, I have no idea. I mean, I don't. When the present council first started their 4-year term, I requested an ordinance audit, especially on any unenforceable ordinance, and any outdated ordinance should be removed. Please make comments on Citizens Minutes by going to nextdoor.com or youtube.com. Your council is only as good as the information that you gather.
While five of
Ms.
your fellow
Bolt, you are
councilmen
done.
care to
Ms.
protect
Bolt,
constitutional
you are done.
rights.
And I don't know what qualifies you to make the decision, the police department needs this, or too aggressive, whatever. I don't know where your qualifications come from.
Claiming that their rights were being violated. And I take my job very seriously.
Become a danger zone for Americans who still
Point
cherish.
of order, Mr. Mayor. Our library is not dangerous at all.
It is morally dangerous.
They do not want citizens' input. They just want our money.